Edward Snowden is a whistleblower. In 2013, the former NSA contractor and employee shared highly classified information about the US government. He has many profound thoughts and truths about the role of government and how they control us. Here I offer you a sample of his very, very, very important thoughts on the matter of our own freedoms and privacy.
Is when we become fearful, we become vulnerable, right? To anyone who promises they will make things better, even if they have no ability to make things better, even if they will actively make things worse, even if they will make things better for themselves and their buddies by taking from you. But if they tell you that they'll make things better, and you believe them in a moment of fear, that typically leads to unfortunate outcomes. This is what real-world conspiracies look like, right? It doesn't have to be smoking men behind closed doors, right? It's lawyers and politicians. It's ordinary people from the working level to the management level who go, if we don't explain this in a certain way, we're all going to lose our jobs. Or the other way, they go, we're going to get something out of this if we all work together. Civilization is the history of conspiracy, right? What is civilization but a conspiracy for all of us to do better by working together, right? But it's this kind of thing that I think too often we forget because it's boring as hell. They said they were seeking these powers for a good and just and noble cause, right? They say they were trying to keep us safe. But that's what they always say. That's what every government says. That's no different than what the Chinese government says or the Russian government says. And the question is, if they are truly keeping us safe, why wouldn't they simply just tell us that? Why wouldn't they have that debate in Congress? Why wouldn't they put that to a vote? This is the group that everybody's applauding today, saying, oh, these wonderful patriots and heroes. Now, I'm not saying everybody at the FBI is bad. I'm not saying everybody at the CIA and the NSA is bad. I'm saying that you don't become a patriot based on where you work. Patriotism is not about loyalty to government. Patriotism, in fact, is not about loyalty to anything. Patriotism is a constant effort to do good for the people of your country, right? It's not about the government. It's not about the state. Loyalty is a good thing when it's in the service of something good, but it is only good when it's in the service of something good. If you're loyal to a bad person, if you're loyal to a bad program, if you're loyal to a bad government, that loyalty is actively harmful. And I think that's overlooked. But yeah, when you get back into this whole thing about sort of where it came from, why it happened, how it could come out of just this small group, and then they could slowly kind of poison by implication, by complicity, by bringing them into the conspiracy and then having them not say anything about it, a wider and wider broad body of people. And then once you've got enough people in on it, it's much easier to convince other people that it's legitimate, because they can go, look, we've got 30 people who know about this, and none of them have objected to it. Why are you going to object to this? All of this derives from that original sin, which is in a democracy, creating a system of government that is in fact a secret government, a body of secret law, a body of secret policy. It should be obvious. And the fact that it's not, and the fact that we read story after story, year after year, saying all your data has been breached here, this company's spying on you here, this company's manipulating your purchases or your search results, or they're hiding these things from your timeline, or they're influencing you or manipulating you in all of these different ways, that happens as a result of a single problem. And that problem is an inequality of available information. They can see everything about you. They can see everything about what your device is doing, and they can do whatever they want with your device. You, on the other hand, owned the device. Well, rather, you paid for the device. But increasingly, these corporations own it. Increasingly, these governments own it. And increasingly, we are living in a world where we do all the work, right? We pay all the taxes. We pay all the costs. But we own less and less. Maybe you do know, right? Maybe you're an academic researcher. Maybe you're a technological specialist. Maybe you're just somebody who reads all the reporting and you actually know. You can't prove it, but you know this is going on. But that's the thing in a democracy. The distance between speculation and fact, the distance between what you know and what you can prove to everybody else in the country is everything in our model of government. Because what you know doesn't matter. What matters is what we all know. And the only way we can all know it is if somebody can prove it, if you can prove it. And if you don't have the evidence, you can't prove it. But I didn't come forward to be safe. If I wanted to be safe, I'd still be sitting in Hawaii, making a hell of a lot of money to spy on all of you, right? And nobody ever would have known about this. The system would have gotten worse. But the system, the world, the future gets worse every day that we don't do something about it. Every day that we stay silent about all the injustices we see, the world gets worse. Things get worse. And yeah, it's risky. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. But that's why we do it. Because if we don't, no one else will. All those years I was sitting, hoping for someone else to come forward, and no one did, right? That's because I was waiting for a hero. But there are no heroes, right? There's only heroic decisions. You are never further than one decision away from making a difference. It doesn't matter whether it's a big difference. It doesn't matter if it was a small difference, because you don't have to save the world by yourself. And in fact, you can't. All you have to do is lay down one brick. Right? All you have to do is make things a little bit better in a small way so that other people can lay their brick on top of that or beside that. And together, step by step, day by day, year by year, we build the foundation of something better. The way to make sure people understand this broadly is if we all work together, right? If we collectively can establish a corpus of evidence, right? A body of facts that is so large and so persuasive, it overcomes the natural and understandable resistance of these more corporatized media groups. It overcomes the political and partisan sort of loyalties that all of these political factions in the country do, where they go, you know, it's my president. Even if I don't like this stuff, even if I don't agree with this stuff, I don't want to say it exists. I want to deny it until it's proved, you know, in HD on video, you know, signing the order to do this, that, or the other. Because otherwise there's a chance my guy might not get reelected. And that's the only way this kind of stuff can happen. And the sad fact is, the opportunities that we have to prove this, like the moments in history where we do prove something, anything, beyond a reasonable doubt, are so few.